What is up, all of my beautiful dudes and dudettes? We have, what's your first name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian here with his Gishki deck, pure Gishki deck that he went, you went 4-1? Or
I went 5-4.
5-4. Same record as me with my Naturia Punk deck, so obviously this is one of the best decks in the room. Yeah, so just show me the deck.
Let me show off the monsters first.
Yep. Maybe you want to flip them around so they can see.
Beautiful Princess. It's a starter. It searches a fish from the deck. Then 3 Gishki Grimness. A special Gishki from the deck. Then 3 Gishki Abyss. This is basically the combo enabler. It's not a once per turn effect to search a Gishki with 1000 or less defense points from the deck to the hand. This is the Ritual Monster Searcher, the Ritual Spell Searcher, and the deck is centered around the new one, the Gishki Neremanas.
So you just turbo out the negate and shuffle.
Yes.
Is that what the whole deck is focused on? Is
yes.
Just sticking this on board?
And as consistent as possible.
Okay.
Some one-offs, there's the Pancratops.
Okay.
So in case I lose the die roll, this is a very good card. 1 Roll and Lock, and 2 Ash Blossoms.
Okay.
I also play the Crossout Designator, so for this reason it makes sense to play only 1 roll. Yeah, this is a must.
The new busted, the Rhoda, Gishki Rhoda.
Aqua Mirror, 3.
Okay, cool.
Photo Mirror.
I see a lot of people play 2 of the Aqua Mirror, but are you liking 3?
Yes.
Yeah? Just so that you can always see it like in your opening hand?
If you have it in the graveyard, you can recycle it to shuffle it to the deck and add the monster to the hand. But sometimes the deck runs out of fuel, and running out of fuel means that you do not have access to the ritual spells.
Okay.
So it makes sense to play 3 Aqua Mirrors, at least for the deck how I play it. 1 Photo Mirror.
Okay.
And then 3 Prosperities. Then the Crossout Designator. 1 Book of Moon and 1 Book of Eclipse.
Do you play the Moon and Eclipse for the crossout?
Yes. So okay, for Kashtira, people main deck both of them. So it makes sense to play these as one-offs. Also, it doesn't matter if you win or lose the die roll. The 2 books are quite effective cards to interrupt the opponent. Finally, 1 Infinite Impermanence and 3 Evenly Matched. So this was yeah, some sort of security if I lose the die roll, that I have a very impactful card. Let's continue with the extra deck, 1 Almirage. So basically, if you start with the Abyss, you want to send it to the graveyard so that you can revive it with the Neremanas to follow up with combos. Then 1 Linguribo.
Do you have the Linguribo for the Ibli lock?
Yes. It didn't came up to me during the whole tournament, but you never know. I also had the space, so I thought, okay, let's play this one. 1 Mistar Boy. 1 Abyss Keeper, 1 Water Charmer. Against some decks, yeah, it's possible to revive the opponent's Aqua monsters or Water monsters to go into higher link plays.
Did you ever face a Marincess deck or anything of that sort?
I faced one, but
hey! There we go.
I had a break of around 3 years of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this was very overwhelming to me to play against it, because they have so many different effects in the graveyard, on the field and so on. So this was
a lot.
Very intense. Okay, 3 Coral Anemones.
Triple Coral Anemone. Okay, was the water lock ever an issue for you?
No.
No?
Because if you look at my extra deck, most of the monsters are water monsters. Okay, in some scenarios, let's say if you want to go into Zeus, the water lock could be an issue. But typically the Grimness restricts you in only being able to declare attacks with water ritual monsters. So this makes it very difficult to go into Zeus. 1 Cerberus and 1 Phoenix. Okay, they have a lot of utility, of course. 1 Silantis. This is a very good card, a very strong card, because if you are under the water lock, you can banish also the opponent's monsters and it will not be possible for me as the player who activated the Silentis to special the opponent's monsters. One Herald of Pure Light, one Downed, one Super Dreadnought.
For the OTK, of course.
Yeah, for the OTK. In some scenarios, also when it comes to end of time, this can be a very.
Oh, yep. Okay, that makes sense.
And finally, one Zeus. Okay, let's finish off with the side deck.
Yep.
So 2 additional Roland Lockbirds. So this makes a 3 in total, 1 in the main and 2 in the side. The third Ash Blossom. Then 3 Kaijus. So they are supposed to break boards, especially against the Kashtira Arise Heart. One of the familiar Possessed. So this is something that I only side in when expecting to go first. Or if I lose game 1 and I will go first, I will side this in because...
Nerimanes is a spellcaster, right?
Nerimanes is a spellcaster, as well as the Water Link monster, the Water Charmer. So I can do a specific combo in the deck, and it's very easy to do this combo indeed, that is able to search this, and by this search the Spiritual Water Art Aoi, and this is a very good interrupt, especially when you expect to be faced against, let's say, a Lava Golem or evenly matched, because you can simply remove this card from the opponent's hand and then know what the opponent is going to play and react with the Nerimanes negates accordingly. Feather Duster and Necro Mirror. Okay. This is also for going second. One Called by the Grave. And the Spiritual Water Art Aoi. So this is the search target for a familiar possessed one. One-dimensional barrier. Maybe it would make sense to play multiple of them. But this is also a card that I sometimes side when going second, because this is of course then also a crossout designator target.
Oh, so if they do that declare ritual, you're like, yeah, well, crossout, so F you.
Yeah. Because if they declare ritual, I basically have to end my turn. Yeah. So I thought, okay, if I play crossouts in the main, it would make sense to play this in the side. But against most decks, let's say against Spright, I would rather prefer the Ghost Match instead of multiple dimensional barriers. So they are also very impactful, of course. And finally, there are some tokens.
Awesome. This is awesome. I'm so happy to see Gishki performing this well. Thank you so much. What was your name again? I'm sorry. Sebastian. Thank you, Sebastian.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, so Sebastian is about to show us a 2-card combo with the Gishki cards.
Let's assume I lost game 1, so I sided in these 2 to my main deck. And let's say this is my opening hand. So it's the Grimness and one of the Gishki or smaller Gishki monsters. This could also be the ritual spell, the ritual monster. So basically one extender to the Grimness. So I start with a normal summon Grimness, a special one from the deck. It's the Abyss. Abyss searches the one that I need for the ritual summon. Let's say here the Shadow. Then I search with these 2 to add 1 ritual spell and 1 monster. Then I link to the Coral Anemone. Effect special back the Abyss. With the Abyss I search now the ritual monster via the Vision. So add Vision, search the monster. So now I have the setup for 1 ritual summon. But first I'm going to link off the Gishki Abyss from the field. And now I do the ritual summon. Typically I place it into this zone. Tribute 1 Nerimanes from hand. So upon summon I'm going to activate the Nerimanes to special the Abyss and then use its effect to search again. Now I can use the Aqua Mirror in the graveyard to shuffle it back and add the ritual monster to my hand. So now again I would have the setup for a ritual summon via the photo mirror, so I add it. And again, first I would like to get rid of the Abyss to specially summon it. So in this case I'm going to tribute the Spellcaster and the level 4 or lower water monster to special the Gigabyte from the deck. And now optionally I can think about triggering the effect to discard a random card of my opponent's hand and then both players draw one card. So if this doesn't is not a graveyard trigger on my opponent's side, this is a +1 effect. Then I finish off the combo with a Photo Mirror, paying 5000 life points to special summon the Nerimanas. With the Nerimanas, especially the Abyss from the graveyard. And with the Abyss I can, or typically I search a follow-up for the next turn, so a Grimness to the hand. The turn ends by linking away these two just to trigger the graveyard effect. So this can be any water monster. Typically I choose the Mr. Boy because then it is in the graveyard, and optionally I can revive it with both the Anemone as well as with the Nerimanas. Since the Gigabyte is sent to the graveyard, I can add the Spiritual Water Art trap. Then I end the turn by setting a trap, the Spiritual Water Art, and of course I have additional cards from my starting hand.
3 cards in hand plus a follow-up for next turn.
So now I pass, and then in the opponent's draw phase I activate the Spiritual Water Art. So in this assumption I thought that, or I've sided the Spiritual Water Art and the Possessed because I wanted to go first. This also means that the opponents usually side, let's say, Lava Golem or evenly matched, and this is a very good interrupt because it picks out very dangerous cards in my opponent's hand, and it's very impactful, of course. So now I have 2 monster negates and shuffles. This is especially important if I play against decks where the monsters would have additional effects in the graveyard. And also I have start up with the Grimness for the following turn. So this is, in my opinion, a very strong combo.
Well, thank you very much for showing us this. I've got to run to my round 3 of my side event, but thank you again, Sebastian.
Thank you very much.